Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out.
Do it.
Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Bam! Good evening. Welcome to The Swimming Pool. I am your host, Travis Bridges, and tonight is definitely a special one. As Steve Harvey would say, I got a good one for you. I have no idea how I'm going to get through this, but I believe in some way, somehow, I'm going to. There's something about having something to say that actually, I guess, is good, because when you have something to say and it comes from your heart, then, you don't have to worry about how to be prepared. So the truth is, I'm not necessarily prepared, but there's something I wanted to say. And besides, it's Wednesday night, and I need to get back on the ball anyway. Here's hoping you have a fantastic week already, and that you're excited about the rest of the week and the holidays coming up. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to try to get out of here in about 20 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm just believing that I'll get to say what's on my heart and mind. So, it's the title of this live stream is called HEGO, HEGO / She Go, and it has to do with something. Again, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, so just be patient with me for a moment. So let me just start off with the story. I had some things go on. It says I lost connection. I don't have time for that. Okay. About a couple of months ago, I needed to make an appointment with my therapist, and I could not get an appointment. And it was like, okay, it's going to be at least a few weeks before we can get an appointment. And of course, I could have scheduled time to chat with some other people, some friends and whatnot. And I did for the most part. But I thought it would be worth waiting for, my life coach / therapist to share some things that were, on my heart and mind. So while I waited for that opportunity to present itself, I did what most people do whenever they have, what would you call it? Uncertainties or insecurities. I'm going to go with uncertainties. So I started searching YouTube for uncertainties, amongst quite a few other things. And let me tell you, I spent quite a bit of time watching, looking, listening, and searching. And actually, I got a lot of information. A lot of things were keeping me busy and keeping me preoccupied while I was, going through that moment of uncertainty. So with that being said, I heard a lot and I got quite a bit of encouragement, but I still, wanted to speak with my therapist. So I'm kind of watching some signals here. Okay, so I still wanted to speak with, my life coach buddy, and I just could not get that appointment. So for the last couple of months, day and night, I was watching YouTube videos. And as I said, I got a lot of information. There's a lot of information out there, and I'm so glad I don't have to watch regular TV or mainstream media to get information, I can go right to what I want and just listen to and watch and get what I need. So I gained a wealth of knowledge, but I still was not satisfied. There was still a void. Something was missing. And I felt like, what you gonna do now? So what happened was, after going through and taking all of the information in, one thing I did do was focus on myself, which was part of the information and advice. When you're going through something, you have to focus on yourself, stay focused. And I did do that. So I've been working on some music, definitely working on my book and working on my health and fitness. So in terms of all of that, I'm okay. And, but I still, as I said, I wasn't satisfied. But it wasn't until just yesterday, the opportunity presented itself for me to be able to speak with my therapist. And let me tell you, I don't know if you ever had a moment of enlightenment, but there's something about the soul. We are mind, body, and soul, from what I understand. Just like when we're hungry, we look for food. When we're thirsty, we want something to drink. Any of a desire we have, we will find a way to get it. Well, there's something about the spirit that when it's not fulfilled, some way, somehow, we are naturally programmed to get to where we need to be, to get our spirit in check. So with that being said, about 30 minutes into a 2-hour session with my life coach therapist, I got what I needed, and I realized that my spirit had totally run dry. Now, you may be asking, what is this guy talking about? There's something about my live streams and the way I present certain things, especially from a public perspective. I don't want to tell all the details, and I just want to leave room for, imagination. And then I want, what I'm presenting to be generic so that it can fit any scenario, not just mine. But let me just try to stay focused. Because we're mind, body, and soul, we have the ego, the id, and the super ego, whatever. I can't remember. I'm going to just try to stay focused with, the point I want to make and what it is I want to say. We are supposed to constantly be checking ourselves. Now, when you go through therapy, anyone that has gone through therapy, there's something that I mentioned last week called the work. And we're supposed to always be checking ourselves and staying focused on what we're supposed to be focused on. I don't want to get confused with my words here. But there's something that happens in life when we don't keep our eyes, our ears, and our heart in check. I believe we're spirit first. Of course, we're flesh, and we're having a fleshly experience while we're here on earth. I learned something like that in Sunday school. But I want to stay focused on what it is I really want to say, and I want to stay on time. Let me see, where's my clock? I want to stay focused. We're spirit first. And if our spirit is in check, if our mind is focused, very seldom do we get sidetracked on things that we're not supposed to do, say places we're supposed to be, things we're supposed to take, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or, bad information. When our spirit is on track, we can avoid some of those problems that we find ourselves in. However, the ego is really strong. It really is. The ego is greedy, selfish, and really wants to have its way. And the ego is a part of us. And if we're not careful, we can be distracted by things that bring us pleasure for whatever reason, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's, a new toy. Sometimes you can get, I remember when I got one of my vehicles, I became kind of obsessed with it because, I'm a car guy. I was told once that I was a gadget guy. That's another story. But sometimes, even with diet, I will talk about, fitness regularly. Sometimes if we're not careful, we're not focused, we will start to eat, we will not take care of ourselves. And before you know it, we are off track. So as I begin to speak to my buddy that I haven't spoken to in a couple of years, we started talking. And as we began to talk, I found myself answering some of my own questions. And without taking too much time, the bottom line is this. I had allowed myself to get distracted so much that I lost myself. Sometimes we can think people abandon us, or if we get fired from a job, or if we lose anything, we will look at that situation and then we'll have something to point at, someone to blame. And I guess in some cases, sometimes people in situations, play their part. But for the most part, if we don't stay focused, we will find ourselves in a bad place. And I had this in my mind, how I was going to present it, and I'm still going to do it. Have you ever said something or did something or found yourself in a place where you are in trouble and then you come to yourself? I like to talk about the prodigal son. There's a special meaning when you come to yourself. When one day you look around, nothing is right. You're not happy, you're miserable, you've got trouble in your way, and you wonder, how did I get here? It's because we started to feed into things that were not in line with our goals and our spiritual focus, and it's easy to do. Now, as I listened to all of the YouTube videos on what I was searching, those insecurities, as I said, amongst other things, I did find a lot of things. And there's something about what I'm saying now. I'm hoping that I'm delivering this well, because I don't know if I can express it the way I received it, because I did get what I needed. My soul, my spirit needed to be checked, and I got what I needed. And somehow I want to take what I got, from therapy and what I got from the YouTube videos and kind of combine them together, because although I was not satisfied with what I got from the YouTube information, I did get a lot of information that I think I'll be able to use at another time and in another way. But I do want to say this. Anytime you are not saying or doing the right thing in some kind of way, you're going to find yourself in trouble. When I say trouble, I mean off track. I mean uncomfortable. I mean in chaos. I mean unhappy, disturbed. You could be arguing. You could just be in financial trouble. There's so many things that happen when we feed that side of our being that just wants to either be right, wants to have its way, and just don't know how to necessarily be what we truly are inside. We're spirit. And this is something that I know and what I learned about the spirit man. A calm spirit really doesn't want for anything. There's a scripture that says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. We're saying I, but which I are you talking about? We're talking about your spirit man. We really should not be wanting for anything. If we find ourselves wanting something or resisting something, it's just a matter of time before we, run out. And I hope I'm making my point. When you're not happy, the best thing to do is to meditate, I guess. Think, is this my spirit or is this my flesh that's unhappy? Man, I hope I'm saying this right. It's very important because I did get what I need. I just hope I'm conveying this, the right way. When we find ourselves wanting something, missing something, whether it's attention or feeling like we're entitled, feeling like somebody should do something for us or be something for us, that's us. That's a part of us that is off track. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to go. I'm going to try to leave you with this, and I hope it'll be enough for somebody to get something out of this, because I really did. It's okay to want things. It's okay to enjoy what our earthly beings, what the earth has to offer. But we have to not get too distracted by what we think we want. We should not want for anything. We don't own things. We don't own people. And we don't own the rights to being right. The need to be right. Man, I'm going to hold my head down a little bit. I talk about people who, have the need to be right. Well, guess what? I may have had, the need to be right sneak up on me. And I think that's what happened to me. And I'm so glad that what happened, and I had to go through what I had to go through in order to get to where I am now, to where I believe I'm somewhat balanced. Now, will I get some do-overs? I don't know. And I don't think it matters. Whether you get a second chance or not, or whether you get the opportunity to explain yourself or, to tell your side of the story, sometimes it doesn't matter. I'm just glad that I found the place that I saw myself getting off track. And I'm grateful that I went through, a tough moment in order to see myself. So right now, I'm not 100% perfect, but I'm okay. I'm content. I really am. And I'm looking forward to other opportunities to be able to see myself and to catch myself. As soon as I get a little funky thought or a funky feeling, I have to examine it to see, where is that coming from, man? Is that you? Or is that the part of you that's trying to control you? It's tricky and it's scary. And if we're honest with ourselves, anytime you're not happy about something, it's because you're trying to control something or control someone. Don't do that. It's a recipe for disaster. Find peace. Don't fight against things that you cannot control. Be okay with allowing circumstances, situations, and people to be who they are, because people are at different levels of consciousness also. And not that we are ever better than anyone else when we are grounded, but sometimes you have to realize, what's causing other people to do and say and be how they are before we react to what someone else is doing or saying or how they're being. So, in closing, my advice to myself, and you can take it for yourself as well: stay close to your spirit, man. Maybe study the spirit. There's a certain way we're supposed to be in a certain way, we're supposed to respond to circumstances that we don't always respond to. Being upset, mad, angry, dissatisfied, complaining, murmuring, is not who we are. It's what we do. And the best thing that could happen to anyone is to get your face kicked in real good. Not literally, but sometimes we have to go through some tough times. Sometimes we have to get it before we get it. So with that being said, I'm kind of looking forward to the rest of my life being the best of my life. And I would encourage you to take a look at yourself, realign, and allow your spirit to be a little more dominating than that little childlike ego that wants to be, control, the flesh, so to speak. If you ever went to Sunday school in my culture, there's this saying that goes like this: the flesh is a mess, and it is. My greatest lesson is to be okay with what is. Things and people, circumstances and situations. You can't control people. You can't control the weather. The best thing you can do is do the best you can do with what you can control. And you want to know what that is? How you respond to something. You can control that. So with that being said, I don't have a video, I don't have a song, I don't have a clip, I don't have anything. All I have is the beginning of a new way of thinking and being. And I will say, and I'm thankful that it didn't take me a very long time to get some of the work in, because anytime you go through, a situation and you need to regroup, you have to do some work on yourself before you get back into the game, before you get back into. So I think the last 2.5, 3 months or so, maybe I did make some strides. And I'm just looking forward to other opportunities that will give me the opportunity to be the fearfully and wonderfully created being that I am, my mother's child. I'm a good dude. I'm a good person. I'm not perfect. I have my faults, but I'm a good person. And I think I'm going to focus on really being who I am and not necessarily how I feel, or what I believe, or what I think. With that being said, I have some good news. This is the only place that I'm going to really market, my memoir that I am just actually days away from releasing. I started writing about 4 years ago, and man, I am right at the edge of hitting the button to release my book. And part of me is nervous, a little hesitant, because I'm expressing myself in a lot of ways. I'm talking about why I am the way I am. And I expect to be releasing it, and I'm going to announce it. Did I go off? Why is it telling me that? I hope I didn't go off. Okay. I didn't write my book to be famous or popular or to sell 1 million copies. And if 1 million copies sell, then so be it. I had a lot of things inside of me that I wanted to get out. It's taken me a long time to get it out. And I can breathe. So thank you for your support in advance for what I will be sharing. Thank you for listening to me tonight. This is Say What You Mean. This is therapy for me, and I have enjoyed it. Wow, did I go off? Man, what happened? Why is this disconnected? Am I reconnected again? Wow. Am I back or no? Am I back? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts, views, and comments. This is therapy for me. SWIM, SWIM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. Remember to say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm going to go now. Find someone you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it. Show it, mean it, and let it be true. Till the next time. Have yourself a great... Oh yeah, here we go. Have yourself a great rest of the week, rest of the night. And ciao. Thanks again. Bye.
SWYM. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone. But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me, stand right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on searching. Keep it on the cool side. Keep on looking around.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.